AFC playoff game.
The kick is up. The kick is good. Miami wins.
It's taken 15 years for the Chiefs to make it back to the postseason. And this team is here largely on the strength of a solid defense and spectacular big play special teams, accounting for all of their 24 points last week in the win over Pittsburgh. Their wild card opponents, the Jets, were once flying high. The Jets' defense decimated by injuries, so the offense carried the load to a record of 10-1, but they have lost their last 5 games. O'Brien firing, and it is picked off by Lewis Breeden. There's Breeden with the second interception of the day, and the embarrassment continues. And today, Pat Ryan takes over for Ken O'Brien at quarterback, and the Jets also look to the return of Mark Gastineau. For the Chiefs, either Todd Blackledge or Bill Kenny will start at quarterback, a decision to be made just before kickoff. This is Marv Albert with Bob Greasy at the Meadowlands. We'll have more later, but now let's go to NFL 86 and Bob Costas.
All right, Marv, thanks very much. You mentioned the last time the Chiefs were in the playoffs back in 1971. The last time the Chiefs and Jets met in postseason, 1969 at Shea Stadium in New York. The Jets were the defending Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs had gotten in as the original wild card team. There weren't enough teams in the old AFL then to go around. They took the second-place team with the best overall record. That was Kansas City, and their defense stopped Matt Snell, Joe Namath and company on a cold, blustery day at Shea Stadium. The final score, Hank Stram's Chiefs 13 and Weeb Eubanks Jets 6. And the Chiefs went on from there. They beat the Raiders in the playoffs, a team that had beaten them twice. During the regular season, they went on to Super Bowl IV, and Stram, strutting the sidelines, beat Bud Grant and the Minnesota Vikings in the Super Bowl that year after they had begun the playoffs with that win at Shea against the Jets, 13-6. Let's go back out to the Meadowlands now, join Marv Albert's broadcast partner, Bob Greasy, and we're also joined by Don Shula, the Dolphin coach from his home down in Miami, and, of course, the Dolphins not in the playoffs for the first time since 1980. Coach, let's start with you and your thoughts on Joe Walton's choice of Pat Ryan over Ken O'Brien today.
Well, evidently, Walton knows a lot more about it than we do to make that decision. But I would have to, myself, go with Ken O'Brien because he's the guy that got him there. And early in the year, when they had that tremendous record, 10-1, he was the hottest quarterback in the AFC. And he wasn't doing it with mirrors. He was doing it with great performance. Last year, he was in the Pro Bowl. He was the Pro Bowl quarterback. He is their franchise. So unless there is something physically wrong that we don't know about, I question that decision.
Bob, your thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of admiration for Don Shula, but I think if he was in the situation going through 5 games and losing, I think he would have made the choice. I say better late than never. Kenny O'Brien carried this team for the first 11 games. He did it all on his own. He's got that pressure. He's trying to do it, and he's trying to do too much. And I think Joe Walton maybe could have done it a couple of games ago, but better late than never. I think it takes the pressure off of him and gets a fresh start, a new beginning in for the Jets with Pat Ryan.
Bob, we know you were hurt during that 17-0 season, and that's why Earl Morrall quarterbacked most of the year. You ever recall Don Shula yanking you just because you stunk?
Yes, I do. We lost 3 games in a row. In fact, we didn't score 3 games in a row, and Don Shula came to me and told me the situation. And really, I talked to Kenny O'Brien before the game, and I said, it's happened to me before. There's life after being pulled, and you'll come back and be a good quarterback again. But sometimes you don't like what's going on, but it's going to make you a better quarterback.
Don, the Jets' slide began on that Monday night at the Orange Bowl when your team pasted them 45-3. Could you see something about the Jets there? Could you tell they were about to come apart?
Of course, they had all those problems defensively, and we knew that they couldn't be as strong, and we wanted to go after them. Lance Mel was out of the lineup. Gastineau was out of the lineup. Joe Klecko was out of the lineup. And whenever you lose 3 super defensive players like that, you got to be hurting. And they were patchwork, and they were able to get by, but we went after them, and we were able to control the ball. We had the ball in that ball game 40 minutes to their 20 minutes, so that was ball control. When we have it, we're putting points on the board, and they can't do anything with it. And when they had it, we were able to stop them.
Don, as the playoffs begin, it's pretty clear the best overall strength is in the NFC. What team in the AFC do you see as capable of going through and maybe winning the Super Bowl?
Well, you got to like Cleveland in the great job that Marty Schottenheimer has done there. This is a fine defensive football team. Kozar in his second year has given them great leadership from the quarterback position. They've got a solid running game. They've got a possession, ball control type of passing game, and occasionally they'll go for the long ball. But they can hang on to the ball both running and passing, and they play great defense.
Bob, have you got a pick?
I like Cleveland at home. Bernie's playing very well, and they're tough to beat up there. I think New England, though, is also going to be heard from either with Eason or with Steve Grogan.
Let's have the two of you share some thoughts about a game we saw a glimpse of on Marv Albert's opening. That's the game 15 years ago, Christmas Day, 1971, and it was a victory for you fellas along the way to your first Super Bowl appearance, the six-period game in which you beat Kansas City 27-24. Either one of you.
Well, it was an end of an era for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have not been back to the playoffs for 15 years. That was when they had their great teams, and it was really the beginning for the Miami Dolphins. I can remember coming back in that game time after time, and really we played well enough to win, and if we didn't win, we could have said, well, it's all right. But we came back and we won, and I think that was really the start of our championship years.
Don, how about matching wits with Hank Stram?
Well, that had to be one of the great ball games of all time. It had a little bit of everything. It had offense, defense, it had special teams. And then we got into the sudden death period, and the ball, it was going back and forth. The great call by Bob Greasy on the draw play by Zonka was the play that set up the field goal by Garrow. And then, of course, Garrow knocked it through there, and we were a happy bunch because that game is what started us on to Super Bowl championships.
Don Shula, thank you. Bob Greasy, we'll hear from you with Marv Albert later in the day, and Don will be with us in the studio next week as the AFC playoffs continue. We'll be back with Paul McGuire and Ahmad Rashad in just a moment. Stay with us.
NFL 86, the AFC Wild Card, is brought to you by Taco Bell, the cure for the common meal. By the 1987 German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. And by Transamerica. For insurance and financial services, the power of the pyramid is working for you.
It's your last chance to steal a deal on the full line of Volkswagens. Right now through December 31st, you can get a great deal on a Volkswagen Jetta, the best-selling European import in the U.S. Or make your best offer on a Volkswagen Golf. It's the best-selling car in all of Europe. Hurry in. December 31st will be your last chance to steal a deal on a Volkswagen. And missing out will be a crime.
We give 110%. So does Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Why? Nothing fights wetness and odor better. That's 110% protection that glides on dry. That's your edge.
Speed Stick Antiperspirant, the wide stick.
By Menon. Skin Bracer Aftershave has what it takes to cool, soothe, tone, tighten, and to wake up your face.
Thanks. I needed that.
After every shave, it has what your face needs. Skin Bracer.
By Menon. Brighten your color, sharpen your sound with high-tech components designed to astound. Fine-tune your life with Emerson. Amazing new features, the ultimate prize. Step into the future, we'll open your eyes. Fine-tune your life. Emerson feels so right. Emerson, fine-tune your life with Emerson.
I want to talk to you about something that could change your life. Insurance. This is a policy from one of the world's biggest insurance specialists. For almost any kind of insurance. Because you just never know when you're going to need insurance. Excuse me. Hey, you big ape! You know who has to pay for this mess?
Transamerica. For insurance and financial services, the power of the pyramid is working for you.
Okay, back out now to the Meadowlands. Ahmad Rashad is standing by. Ahmad, a couple of questions. I see you with the overcoat on. First of all, the weather conditions, and secondly, well, take the weather first, then I'll pose the second question.
Well, Bob, it's about 36 degrees out here and no wind at all. It's a wonderful day for playing football.
All right, we heard Marv Albert say that the Blackledge-Kenny decision won't be made until just before kickoff. You got any thoughts?
Yeah, I've been down here among the players in the warm-ups, and Todd Blackledge will start. And the players feel very confident about that. But Kenny will be, he'll be on the side and he'll be prepared to play. It's a great day out here. I've never seen so many game faces at this stadium. And that's just the people here in the stands. The guys in the field are really ready to play. But every team in the National Football League goes through some turbulence during the course of a season. But coaches like to say, if you can keep chipping away, win a few games here, a few games there, you can stay in contention for the playoffs. Well, the Jets had their own way of doing it. They played well, they were up, and then they were down. I guess if you look back at their season, it reads sort of like a movie title, A Tale of Two Seasons.
Fake to Hector, O'Brien going for it all, to Walker, touchdown, oh my!
But the guy that really impressed me over the day was Ken O'Brien. Late in the game, he got hurt. He had a chance to go out. He came back in. He showed his mettle. He came back in and threw the winning touchdown. I think that he has evolved into a great quarterback. He really played well today.
Wesley Walker, 11-yard pickup for the first down. Jets in a hurry-up offense with the clock running. Deep for Shula, wide open, touchdown!
These are the best. These are the best.
We have so many talented people that at any time we can explode. We feel like somebody's going to make the play, and we just have to work hard. I'll get the ball to the right person. They'll make somebody miss. We'll score. We'll win. And as long as there's time on the clock, we think we can get it done.
The mark of a good football team is that in tough times, it bends, but it doesn't break. Against Miami in Week 12, the times got tough. The Jets traveled to the Orange Bowl in Miami with a 10-1 record and were embarrassed 45-3 in front of a national television audience. At that point, it all fell through. The Jets haven't won in the last 5 weeks.
The best in football at one point, and now we're in the doghouse. So all we can do is pick ourselves up and hopefully respond to what is happening, and we have one more chance. And if you don't do it, it's all over with. So I hope everybody realizes that.
I think the change right now is going to help the whole team. It's going to help Kenny deal with the situation that he's in. I think Pat Ryan has proven himself to be a quality quarterback, has proven that he can take us and lead us to victory, and that's what we need right now. We need that one victory to get over that slump.
We overcame a lot during the season. We won 10 games. We earned our way into the playoffs. They beat a lot of good football teams, and I think they have to just gather themselves together and start again.
There is so much pressure on this New York Jet football team. These players realize that if they don't win today, and it's only up to the players, the coach has nothing to do with this. If they don't win today, it's going to be a long offseason, one in which there will be quite a few personnel changes. Now, you talk about in football that football is a character builder. Well, at this level of the game, it doesn't build character, it reveals it. And that's what's on the line today for the Jets. My matchups, Toon and Walker against Kevin Ross and Albert Lewis. Two of the best receivers against two of the best cornerbacks in the league. I talked to Lewis, and he said that they're going to play these guys man-to-man all over the field. And as a receiver, that's all you can ask for. You find out immediately just how good you are.
Okay, Ahmad, thanks very much. As we've mentioned, today the Chiefs make their first postseason appearance since 1971. For that reason, and in a different sense, it makes it a special year in Kansas City, as Paul McGuire found out.
There's something special this Christmas for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're working. The Chiefs are in the playoffs for the first time since 1971. But what's of very special interest is how they got there.
There's no doubt our special teams have put us into the playoffs throughout the entire year, all 16 games. The play of our special teams has enabled us to win, I'd say, 90% of our games.
Former Rams and Redskins coach George Allen, who had many playoff teams because of the play of the special teams, once said, offense puts fans in the stands. Defense, well, they win ball games. But special teams, they win playoff games. That's because specialty teams can create big point swings and can change the momentum of a game. Case in point, last Sunday's game against Pittsburgh, a 10-point swing in 14 seconds as a Steeler field goal attempt turns into a Chiefs touchdown.
Well, it's the quick change, you know, making the big play. We are well drilled, and we anticipate a lot out there on the field. And when we do have the chance, the opportunity for the turnover, we have a thing called a jazz session, and everybody turns around. One guy gets the ball, and everybody turns around and blocks.
All right, every man doing his job. Here we go, Nick. Everybody ready? All right, here we go now, Nick. All right, fly. Let's get hang time and hustle, man. Hang time and hustle. You got it.
The guy that runs this finely tuned group is Coach Frank Gans. Not only does he tell them what to do, he does it with them.
What we're trying to do is get the talents, the skills, the energies, the abilities of the athletes, all of those resources, directed to the critical situation at hand, whatever it might be, whether it's returning a kickoff, covering a punt, blocking a field goal. Those are the things that you have to do. Most plays in football last about 6 seconds, but kicking team plays last much longer than that. So you've got to stay with it longer than the opponent, what we call finishing the play.
The Chiefs also have the defense, led by the best secondary in football. Now the offense, that could be the problem. It sputtered most of the year due to inconsistent line play and finished the season ranked dead last.
Hopefully, you know, starting this Sunday, our offense is aware that what's been going on, and it's going to take some of the pressure off us, because, hey, when you're out there all that time, defense is on the field that much, turning the ball over, giving good field position, and coming up with basically nothing, you know, it wears on them, not only physically but mentally.
We try to think of ourselves as a total team, and we have been an opportunistic offense when we've won and played well. Pittsburgh game was a little bit misleading in how we've played during the year, but we'll take it. We'll take anything that we can get. But that's really been the earmark of our team. Our offense has been up and down, but when our offense plays well, we score points, and they really take advantage of situations and opportunities. And if that's the case, then we score enough points to win.
The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from Giant Stadium, it's the AFC wildcard game. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Jets. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. And by AT&T, the right choice.
A capacity crowd, 78,000 at Giant Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands on an overcast, brisk day. Temperature at 36 degrees. And the Jets and the Chiefs are getting ready for this AFC wild card game. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Bob Greasy. And as Ahmad Rashad mentioned a few moments ago on NFL 86, yes, Todd Blackledge will be the starting quarterback. So we have a tale of two starting quarterbacks who will not start this afternoon. One has been benched, the other sidelined by injury, but eventually we could see both Bill Kenny and Ken O'Brien.
Well, Pat Ryan starts for the Jets, and I think it's a good move. It's a fresh start. The other players on the Jets can identify with it. He has no pressure on him. He can only be the hero, not the GOAT. But the key for the Jets today, I believe, Marv, is going to be Freeman McNeil. Joe Walton has called him the pulse of the offense in the past, and I think they want to get back and control the football on the ground.
Bob, this is a strange playoff game. The Jets come in losers of the last 5 during the regular season. Kansas City ranked number 28. That is last in offense in the National Football League. What do the Chiefs have to do to beat the Jets?
Well, they want to downplay their offense, obviously. Don't make any mistakes. Rely on their defense, which leads the National Football League in takeaways, and their special teams, which scored 3 touchdowns last week.
And the special teams have had a magnificent year, led by their coach, Frank Crash Gans. He has been an emotional leader for the Chiefs. He's done it with motivation. In fact, on the flight back home from Pittsburgh last week, the players gave him a standing ovation. And there's Jets special team coach Larry Pasquale. And he has had another successful season. In fact, Pasquale and Gans coached together at the Naval Academy in the late 70s. Head coach Joe Walton, who has seen his team lose 5 straight. At one point, they were 10-1. At one point, they won 9 in a row. John Makovic, who may have saved his job with the finish of his ball club.
2 of the best special team units in the National Football League here today, Marv, and we just met the 2 coaches that handle those special team units, but it's very tough for the Chiefs to duplicate what they did last week, and that was to score those 3 touchdowns at Pittsburgh.
Jets won the flip. A short kickoff as Lowry looked to keep it away from Humphrey and Townsell. But it is Townsell able to move up for a 13-yard advance. Walt Arnold on the stop. And here comes Pat Ryan and the Jet offensive unit. And the Jet wideouts have been taken out of it the last 5 games. Al Toon and Wesley Walker have been virtually invisible. The offensive line with Joe Fields, despite the recent back problems in its center, as the Jets start out first down at the 34. And it's McNeil for a yard, stopped by Dino Hackett. Hackett, the rookie from Appalachian State, playing despite a hamstring strain. Up front, a very solid unit. Led by Bill Moss, who made it to the Pro Bowl for the first time this season.
It didn't appear to me that Hackett had any hamstring problems the way he was jumping around there. Young linebackers in that linebacker group, and a fine, outstanding set of defensive backs.
They're calling it a 2nd and 8. We are just underway at Giant Stadium. And Ryan had it batted, and it was picked off by Dan Alexander, the right guard, on the deflection, but a penalty flag is thrown.
Not the way you want to start offensively. The ball was tipped, so an offensive lineman can catch the ball as Red Cashin makes the call to be 3rd down. This is one of the Jet favorite plays. Joe Walton bringing this over with him from the Washington Redskins. Ryan likes it. It's called a waggle. It's a half roll. You either look to the tight end as Alexander makes the reception. Either the tight end or the flanker are the primary targets.
Nice catch by the right guard, Dan Alexander. A 3rd down and 9. And again it was deflected. And Ryan ended up throwing a pop fly. Good rush from Art Still, who was all over Pat Ryan.
Art Still is 6'7", and although he's got 10 sacks this year, I think his primary rush is to get some penetration, as we see him battling on Alexander, King. He gets a pretty good pass rush, and his height didn't do that. It was his force and his proximity to Pat Ryan.
So Dave Jennings, who 2 weeks ago set the NFL record for most career punts, 1,085 in all, is back at his 20-yard line. And Jeff Smith awaiting the punt for Kansas City. Here's Smith, who is immediately hit. 32-yard punt. Marion Barber, who was a question mark for today's game, making the hit. Todd Blackledge now Onto the field, he is Boyce Green and Larry Moriarty at the running backs. Mike Pruitt out with a knee sprain, placed on injured reserve, and Pruitt was the chief leading rusher with only 448 yards. Rick Donnelly has had a solid season. John Makovic says he has meant more to the offense than any other player. Rick Donnelly starting at center out of North Carolina. First down, Kansas City from their 33. Green. Short pickup. Lester Lyles, the strong safety, on the stop. Up front, Lyons, Bald, and Bennett. And we will see some of Mark Gastineau, who has made it back following the arthroscopic knee surgery. Rusty Gilbo back from a knee injury, but Crable moves over to the left side, and the Jets secondary has had its ups and downs this season. 2nd and 8. The 35. 2 minutes gone by. No score. And Blackledge completes for the first down at midfield. Henry Marshall stopped by Harry Hamilton. It's a 16-yard advance.
Carter, 27, is up jamming. Marshall, he does a nice release to the inside and then breaks back to the outside. It's a good confidence builder for Blackledge to complete his first pass.
Bob, an excellent block from the fullback, Larry Moriarty. Henry Marshall, who has come on very strong in the second half of the season, has a first down at the Jet 49. Off the play action. Pass intended for Stephon Page.
Poor throw by Blackledge. What he likes to do is get the ball to his wide receivers. The Chiefs are not known for running the football. One of the poorest teams running the football in the last 3 years. And this man right here will fire the crowd up. If he can get in and do some things early in this game that'll get the crowd involved and help the Jets immensely, he's missed the last 5 games.
So Gastineau comes on for the 2nd and 10. And it's Boyce Green inside the 45. Kyle Clifton on the stop. Boyce Green in his 4th season out of Carson Newman.
Take a look at Gastineau out where he can rush the passer from an outside position. Gets in a little piece of it, but the Jets have not rushed the passer this year, Marv, and that affects directly the play of the secondary.
3rd down and 5. Carlos Carson just off the injury list. Even out with a sprained foot, is now out to the right side. Completed to Henry Marshall for a first down. Russell Carter on the stop. So Marshall with his 2nd reception. This good for 13 yards.
13-yard game on the play. Henry Marshall releases to the inside 89 and then goes across field as Page takes 2 defenders with him. Not a very good throw, but good enough for a first down.
Kansas City first down at the Jet 31. Now Page to the right, and Marshall, 89, to the near side. 4 minutes gone by in this first quarter with no score. The dump off for Green. Boyce Green inside the 25, tripped up by Rusty Gilbo, and Todd Blackledge off to a good start.
John Makovic calling the plays for Blackledge, throwing the simple short patterns, out patterns. Good protection is MacArthur 57, and Blackledge with a nice lane to throw to Boyce Green. It's very important, especially for a young quarterback who's been inconsistent as Blackledge has this year, to start off on a positive note.
As a 2nd and 3 at the 24, Blackledge has connected on 3 of 4 for 36 yards. Green with a penalty flag thrown. Boyce Green getting near that first down marker. Stopped by Clifton and Lyons. And we'll get the call from Red Cashin. Offside against the Jets.
Offsides. Number 94 on the defense. First down.
That is the outside linebacker, Rusty Gilbo, back as a starter. He had been out with that hyperextended knee.
The Jets are the most penalized, as the closest white jersey player the Jet is offsides. Gilbo, normally a defensive end in college, has been playing linebacker, but Carson likes to have him blitz. He's such a big, strong individual, has a very good way of getting in the quarterback space on the blitzes.
And it's a first down for Kansas City at the 19. A long drive. This is the 7th play being run by Blackledge. And again to the ground. Larry Moriarty. Stopped by Johnny Lynn. Check that. Jeff Smith, the ball carrier.
Take a look at the point of attack. 85 is Hayes, doubles down. Gilbo, 94. It's handled pretty well by Moriarty. Nice enough to get the back inside of him. And Gilbo has been out with an injury problem most of the year. Came back, was out and missed last week's game, and is back in there this week trying to get some things done on the defense's right side.
2nd and 4 down at the 13. That is Page, 83, in motion. And here's Moriarty. And a fumble. The Chiefs recover. The tight end, Walt Arnold.
Stephon Page came up with the recovery. I don't know if they're going to say it was a fumble or not.
May have been blown dead. Let's see.
Baldwin, 95, tries to get in there. A little misdirection. And it looked as though he was down before the ball was out.
So it's spotted at the 12, and it will be a 3rd down and 3. And this, the 9th play of the drive. Blackledge throwing end zone. And a flag down. Jerry Holmes covering Henry Marshall. And it is against Holmes.
Number 47 on the defense. The ball's on the 1-yard line. First down.
You get a jam within 5 yards. Holmes is out there by himself because a blitz was coming on. The key there is Holmes does not see the ball, and Marshall, although it was a little bit underthrown into the inside, saw it and made an attempt to come back and catch it.
So the ball is placed on the 1. 1st and goal from the 1 for Kansas City. A quickie series for the Jets, in which Pat Ryan had 2 of his passes deflected, and Kansas City controlling the football. 8 minutes to go in this first quarter. Jeff Smith giving the Chiefs a 6-0 lead. Jeff Smith, an all-purpose back in his 2nd season out of Nebraska.
Makovic goes with his elephant offensive line and short yardage. He substitutes 2 offensive tackles and a guard at tight end in the flanker position as Smith goes over the top, something that the offense of the Chiefs didn't do all of last week, score a touchdown. They've done it on their first drive here today.
And here is Nick Lowry, who is 43 for 43 on the season. His last miss of an extra point was back in '83. And that just just as the words come out of my mouth, stops the streak of 123 consecutive extra points off the bad snap.
Ball, the rookie center, has a little high snap. We'll be back right after this message.
At Giant Stadium, here is that high snap by the rookie Tom Baugh, leading to this. Nick Lowry, who has been Mr. Perfection, missing an extra point.
And Ball, the rookie, knows it was his mistake. Colbert, the punter, is the new holder. It had been Bill Kenny, but when Kenny had some hand and finger problems early in the season, the punter took over those duties and is doing a nice job.
So Kansas City off a conventional touchdown. All their points last week against Pittsburgh have been scored via the special team. That's Briggs on the return off a mix-up. And the first two kickoffs for Kansas City have been successful.
Big mistake for Briggs. You never want to go back and take a kickoff. You always want to let the back men come forward and take it on the run. As you said, Marv, a big confidence builder in this drive right here for the Chiefs. 9 plays and 67 yards. And, you know, we said a little bit earlier that the Chiefs are going to need some help from their defense and special teams. They're not going to be able to drive the length of the field. First drive was a big confidence builder for that offense.
And the Jets now first down from their 25-yard line. And here is Ryan throwing a bullet, but a short pickup. Lloyd Burris all over Mickey Schuler. And Ryan had his first 2 passes deflected. In fact, one was caught on the deflection by the right guard, Dan Alexander.
I think you're going to find Ryan looking for Schuler a lot today. He likes to throw to his tight ends. They're good friends. And with the style of defense that the Chiefs play, I think Schuler's going to be catching a lot of passes.
2nd and 4 from the 31. Schuler in motion. McNeil. And the Chiefs able to cut off Freeman McNeil, led by Dino Hackett, who leads Kansas City in total tackles. And John Malkovich said before the game he will go as long as he can with that pulled hamstring.
He's an outstanding player and has been there ever since the first week in training camp. Their inside linebacker, a sure tackler, one of the young linebackers. They also have another rookie, Cofield, a free agent in the secondary. They've simplified it.
3rd down and 1 from the 34. Close. Tony Page, who has been the Jet short yardage specialist, picks it up. Art Still on the tackle.
One of the things that Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, has done, Marv, is simplified that defense, which allows some younger players, some first-year players, to come in and play. Now, what that does is it's not as complicated, and they can be more aggressive. They don't do as many things, not as many audibles coming after the man goes in motion. Just physical, line up, and play the game.
Jets first down from the 36. Ryan had the time. Schuler covered well. Lloyd Burris, the strong safety, in his 6th year out of Maryland, making the stop on Mickey Schuler.
Take a look at Schuler lined up in the backfield this time. This to maybe cause some confusion with the defense, but with man-to-man coverage, Burris, the strong safety, just finds him wherever he lines up, goes up and makes the tackle. Burris going to the Pro Bowl this year. He's probably been a little bit bypassed in the past. He was the most valuable player on that Chief team last year, the same secondary with Duron Cherry.
Jets 2nd down and 7. Fake handoff to McNeil. To Sohn for the first down. It was fumbled, and let's see if the whistle was blown. It was. He was down. So a first down for the Jets.
Good protection as Sohn coming across the field. Ball looks like it is out after he hits the ground, therefore no fumble. As we take a reverse angle look at the play, Ross trying to do the job and pull the ball loose, and Duron Cherry there for the possible recovery.
11-yard pass play. First down, midfield. Freeman McNeil finding the hole. Freeman McNeil in the past had problems late in the season. He's had an injury-hit career, but this December has run very well. Hackett and Burris on the stop.
McNeil having 2 100-yard games, Marv, the last 2 weeks, and his productivity has gone just the opposite. The Jets' losing record has gone down. He's played very well.
Second down, 3. McNeil to the outside. Has the first down. Harry Spaney on the tackle. Spaney, the inside linebacker. And the Jets moving on this series. Upcoming play number 8. The Jets opening up with that record of 10-1. And as you mentioned last week during our telecast of the Jets-Cincinnati game, after 11 games, looked like Ken O'Brien was the most valuable player of the National Football League, but the last 5 weeks they've gone the other way. Throws the middle. One-handed attempt by Schuler. And Burris would not allow it.
Well, they play a lot of man coverage in the secondary for the Chiefs. Here's a look at Schuler. He's going to be working on Burris. Number 34. Burris is right there. Does a nice job. The ball's a little thrown to the inside. Ryan expected him to move a little bit to the inside, and he didn't do it. Now, here's a look up front. Cooper with... blocked pretty well, but Koch, 74, gets in to say a little bit of holiday greetings to Pat Ryan.
Pete Koch, a local product out of Manhasset, Long Island, was all over Pat Ryan, who now faces a 2nd and 10. Here is McNeil, slashing his way inside the 35-yard line. Art Still, another local area product out of Camden, New Jersey, on the stop, and it will be a 3rd down and 6 for the Jets. 2:45 to go in this first quarter. The Chiefs lead it 6-0. A bad snap on the extra point attempt, costing Nick Lowry. Page and McNeil, the running backs. Picked off by Burris, who has 5 interceptions for the season. The pass intended for McNeil.
Good pressure up front, Marv, by the Chiefs defensive line. 63 is Moss working on Alexander, just pushes him back and gets into his face. Ryan having to throw off balance and around Moss, who leaped into the air. Moss going to the Pro Bowl for the first time also.
It is a 4th and 6, and the Jets going for it rather than for the long field goal attempt.
It'd be 51 yards, and I think it's a good call. This is a 4-down area, and if you don't kick the field goal, go for it.
Off the fake, Ryan on a bootleg. Pat Ryan refusing to go down.
Richie Kotite, the offensive coordinator, said the tackles for the Chiefs play wide on nickel situations. We're going to fake the pitch, come back with Ryan up the middle. Also, you may see some quarterback draws because of that defensive philosophy by the Chiefs.
24-yard run by Ryan, who is asking for quiet for the 1st and goal from the 9.
Jets want to run left, Marv. They want to run at Pete Koch and also Cofield on that left side. They feel like they're a little bit weaker than the other side of that defense.
2nd and goal at the 4.
Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator.
Page and McNeil split. Walker in motion. McNeil. Touchdown. And again, it's to the left. The Jets and Kansas City tied at 6.
Well, we said McNeil would be the key to this game, but the big play on the drive was by Ryan, who gives Joe Walton a little bit more of a foot speed. He moves around a little bit more elusiveness. He'll scramble. Nice play by Ryan to make the 4th and 7, 4th down play.
And now Ryan will hold for Pat Leahy, who has given the Jets a 1-point lead. 13 plays, 75 yards. So with 46 seconds left in this first quarter, Freeman McNeil able to hammer it home.
Hackett gets pushed back into the end zone. And a nice job by the Jet offensive line.
So head coach Joe Walton and his Jets over Kansas City by 1. Strong drive engineered by Pat Ryan, who has taken over as the starter. Ken O'Brien benched today. A 24-yard bootleg setting up the touchdown. The kickoff from Leahy, taken by Jeff Smith. And Smith with the opening brings across the 30-yard line. A 22-yard return. Billy Griggs involved on the tackle. 37 seconds to go in this first quarter. A timeout taken. We'll be right back. And the winner today will play at Cleveland next Saturday against the Cleveland Browns. A 7-6 Jet lead over Kansas City. Todd Blackledge, the quarterback for the injured Bill Kenny. Bruised his thumb last week. Blackledge took over. Final 7 minutes when Kenny was injured against Pittsburgh. First down at the 32. Mark Gastineau is back in on the right side for the Jets. The swing to Moriarty. And Moriarty fumbles. Kyle Clifton on the recovery. A hard hit by the aggressive free safety Harry Hamilton, unleashing. Larry Moriarty had run it for 28 yards off the swing pass, but he took a hit from Hamilton.
Early in the season, the Jet defensive backs forced 12 fumbles. They have not had one in the last 5 weeks, as you see both Carter and Hamilton getting in to knock the ball loose. The Jets with a big turnover, and we'll be right back after this message.
2 quarterbacks are in the starting lineup today, coming off the bench.
Both have played well. Ryan has made the key play for the Jets, and Blackledge is doing very well.
And Pat Ryan, with 26 seconds to go in this first quarter, has a first down at the Kansas City 47. Sideline for Wesley Walker, who has been silent these past couple of weeks. No receptions in Cincinnati. 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh, only 2 catches, 21 yards, and you know that Ryan would like to get both Walker and Toon involved and as early as possible.
Well, this was just a pattern to throw deep downfield. Obviously, they don't want to throw to their speed man, Walker. Short like this, he was looking downfield, came off to the outlet, which was Wesley Walker.
Picked up 7, second down, and 3. The ball on the 40. Freeman McNeil with a change of direction and short of the first down as time is running down. Down to 10 seconds in the quarter. Bill Moss on the stop. Still Moss and Koch up front. And that'll do it for this first quarter here at Giant Stadium. And this AFC wild card matchup, the Jets 7, Kansas City 6.
Coach, how do you think Pat Ryan is doing so far for the Jets?
Well, I love that call on 4th and 6, the quarterback draw that set up the touchdown, and then the 2 runs by Freeman and McNeil that took it in.
A move that went for 24 yards to lead to the touchdown for the Jets.
He would love that quarterback draw. He put it in a few of my game plans.
So we're underway, second quarter, a 3rd down and 32, the Jets of the Kansas City 39. And now Al Toon for a very short pickup. Albert Lewis, the left corner, making the stop.
As we take a look at the first quarter stats, the only telling thing there is the turnover. The Chiefs had a turnover on the Moriarty fumble. Time of possession a little bit in the Jets' favor when you would expect that to be that way because of the running of Freeman McNeil.
And Toon did pick up the first down. Marty Lyons and the Jet defensive unit looking on.
One of the inspirational leaders right there, Lyons, of this team. He and Klecko and Joe Fields, the inspirational leaders.
First down from the 37. Off the slant, picking his way, Freeman McNeil inside the 30. Kevin Ross tripped him up.
Dan Alexander, number 60, will come around in front of McNeil, and he runs right up his back. That's fine as long as you don't see a red shirt. You see him grabbing a hold of Alexander and says, I'm going where you're going. You're a lot bigger than I am.
And he picked up 9. It is a 2nd and 1 at the 28, and Freeman McNeil is off to a fast start. And Page with the first down. Whitney Paul on the cover-up. There's Whitney Paul, backup linebacker who began his career with Kansas City, then was traded to New Orleans, and he's back here with the Chiefs. So a first down for the Jets at the Kansas City 26.
Barb, the strength of this Chief defense is their secondary. Every one of them is a fine athlete. They're hard hitters, and they all have at least 4 interceptions. In fact, they're 3rd in the National Football League in the number of interceptions this year. So they only trail, I think it's the Rams and the 49ers, but very aggressive, big hitters. I don't think you're going to see Ryan going deep too often.
Led by Deron Cherry, who has 9 intercepts, the most in the AFC. McNeil stopped by Cofield. 2.5 gone by in this second quarter. The Jets with a 7-6 lead over Kansas City. Last week, the Jets got off to the good start in the first half. They led Cincinnati 21-17 at the half, but then sparked by Boomer Esiason, Cincinnati with 35 unanswered points in a shellacking 52-21.
Joe Walton not too pleased with that last play. But the Jets early on were getting ahead early in the games. The last 5 they've been behind.
McNeil. Good second effort by McNeil. And similar to last week, the game plan has been Freeman McNeil left and Freeman McNeil right.
Mostly left, and they like to run him over there behind Sweeney and Bingham with Alexander, the right guard, pulling left, and again running at Cox and Cofield. But I think you're going to see the Jets not throwing the ball downfield too much, Marv, because this is a big play defensive team for the Chiefs. As we said, they lead the National Football League in takeaways with 31.
3rd down and 1 at the Kansas City 17. McNeil to the left for the first down. Mark Gastineau sitting with all his friends.
And staying warm at the same time.
The Jets first down at the 13. McNeil, 12 carries, 55 yards. McNeil inside the 10. Kevin Ross, a cornerback on the right. Inside linebacker Gary Spady combining to make the stop.
Let's take a look at this, Marv. Both right linemen, King and Alexander, are going to pull to the left side, running to the left with Alexander. They're probably their best offensive lineman. Bingham gets the seal block. Alexander with a good block and a good runner, and McNeil just bounces around, taking it where the hole is.
2nd down and 6 at the 9. McNeil has carried the ball the last 4 plays for the Jets. for McNeil.
I think Pat Ryan was bounced around a little bit. We just caught the end of it. Let's take a look at the protection. Play action fake. After you run to him, fake to him, maybe you'll hold the linebackers. Cooper 55, and it didn't even see Koch coming. Ryan threw the ball, was looking downfield. Seemed to have thrown the ball behind as Koch got there at the last minute.
And it's a 3rd and 6 at the 9. Pat Ryan has done a good job filling in for Ken O'Brien. 2 years ago, started the first 11 games, played well, got off to a 6-up, 2-down start, suffered a couple of concussions that took him out of it. Here's the swing for McNeil. And McNeil picked up the first down. Kevin Ross with the tackle preventing the touchdown.
Marvy picked up the first down, but there was a defensive man that got picked as Toon comes in here and will set a pick as McNeil goes out into the flat. Now watch the motion man. Al Toon, he bumps a man there, and now he comes in and bumps another man. Burris right there. Nobody out in the flat with a guard in front.
And when you talk about a pick, you could take a jumper behind the pick of Al Toon, who goes 6'4", 205 pounds. The ball at the 1, 1st and goal. The looping pass for McNeil. The Jet offense looking very sharp.
Pat Ryan looking awfully sharp. McNeil doing it on the ground. Ryan doing just enough to mix the run and pass. Fakes the run, a little flip. You can tell he's under no pressure, because if you were under pressure, you might try and line that ball or throw it a little bit too hard, but Ryan doing a nice job moving the offense.
And here is Pat Leahy. Ryan puts it down, and the Jets with a 14-6 lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. Marv Albert, Bob Gracie from the New Jersey Meadowlands on a 35-degree day. The Jets and the Chiefs in this AFC wild card game. A short kickoff played by Moriarty. Pat Leahy looking to keep it away from Jeff Smith. Flag has been thrown. Michael Hopper on the coverage of Moriarty. Referee is Red Cashin. And it is a personal foul against the Jets, who led the National Football League in penalties this regular season.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 30 by the kickers. First down.
All right, that is Nu'uola called on the personal foul. Pat Ryan, who moments ago threw a touchdown to Freeman McNeil, sitting next to Ken O'Brien.
They have a good relationship, the two of them, Marv. Ryan is very supportive of O'Brien when he was playing, and it works both ways. If you've ever been in that situation, you know you're pulling for each other.
Blackledge has a first down for Kansas City. At the 43, looked to be some movement, and yes, we have the flags throw. Moriarty on the carry, stopped by Lyons. Carlos Carson lined up in the slot, appeared to jump. Carlos Carson just off the injury list. He'd been sitting out with that sprained foot. Illegal motion at the snap is the call.
Illegal motion. Number 88 on the offense. It's still first down.
That is Carson.
Carson's a big addition to this offense. Let's watch the end of this. You see at the bottom right of the screen, Carlos Carson and Carter saying hello to each other and exchanging pleasantries over the holiday season.
Russell punishing Carlos for jumping. It is a 1st and 15 back at the 38. Boyce Green, Larry Moriarty, the running backs. Moriarty starting in place of the injured Mike Pruitt, out with the knee sprain. And off the The botched snap. It is covered up.
Looks like Blackledge is hurt as he went down to recover that fumble.
Todd Blackledge, who is out there replacing Bill Kenny, who bruised his thumb and sprained a ligament. And his index finger is now headed to the sideline as Kenny gets ready.
I don't know if it's a shoulder or what. He was pointing to his left shoulder as he pulled out a little bit too quick. The ball is on the ground. Let's see. I think he gets speared as when he's recovering the football right there. Yeah, he gets hit on his left shoulder.
And that was Kyle Clifton, the inside linebacker, all over Todd Blackledge. So Bill Kenny has come on. It is a 2nd and 16 at the 37. Last week, Kenny was injured when his hand struck the helmet of teammate Irv Eatman.
Kenny said he is throwing well, but he didn't know if he can take snaps. He's not taking snaps all week long.
On the handoff, Moriarty is stopped and another flag thrown. The 3rd-string quarterback, in case you're wondering, for the Kansas City Chiefs is a first-year player out of Kansas by the name of Frank Sire, who has not thrown a pass all season. Here's Blackledge trotting back on.
Both sides. Number 99 on the defense. Still 2nd down.
Well, we were out for practice yesterday, and in talking with Bill Kenny and watching him throw, he was throwing the ball pretty well. He has an injury to his index finger and his thumb on his right hand. And he was throwing well. He said, the thing I've not done is taken snaps. I don't know how that will go. Blackledge is back in and probably just got a stinger, maybe a pinched nerve for a minute when he got hit on that left shoulder.
2nd down, 11. Kansas City at its 42. The Jets lead the Chiefs 14-6 midway through the 2nd quarter. Green was tripped up. Grable on the stop of Boyce Green.
Jets, the Jets are playing the Chiefs to throw the football. Defensively, they're not going to worry about the run. Bud Carson figures that his defense is complicated enough that the Chiefs are not going to be able to run against him. The thing he wants to do is shut down that passing game with Carson and Marshall and Page. That's the strength of that offense.
And Bud Carson and head coach John Mackovic did not get along well when Carson worked for Mackovic in Kansas City. 3rd down and 12. And it is deflected and caught by Green for a loss. Derlin Moore, a recent addition to the Jets squad, a 14-year pro out of Oklahoma who spent most of his career with the New Orleans Saints, in on the play to get a piece of the pass attempt from Blackledge.
Well, the question coming in is that would Carson have to use his linebackers and his defensive backs to put pressure on Blackledge? Not that time.
And Lewis Colbert, a rookie out of Auburn, getting set to punt from his 15 off that 11-yard loss. Kirk Sohn awaiting the punt. And it is a good one. Here's Sohn. 44-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Just under 6 minutes to go. First half, the Jets lead the Chiefs 14-6. And there's Kansas City head coach John Mackovic, enjoying his first winning season after going 6-10, 8-8, 6-10. And this season, 10 up and 6 down. Kansas City finishing by winning its last 3 over Denver, beating the Raiders in Los Angeles, and then last week winning in Pittsburgh, and that after losses to Buffalo, St. Louis, and Denver. So this club that has had its ups and downs, although they finished at 10-6. The Jets taking over, first down at the 30. 89 is Cleaver in motion. And it's Freeman McNeil Out to the 34. It'll set up a 2nd down and 6. Gary Spaney, the inside linebacker, and cornerback Kevin Ross combining on the stop. Getting back to the situation between Makovic and Jets defensive coordinator Bud Carson. Carson had said that Makovic did not know anything at all about defensive football. Yes, they had their disagreements, of course.
Well, Bud Carson likes to have control of his own personnel. I think the discrepancy or the problem was that he wanted to keep some players, and Makovic had some other ideas.
Here's the 2nd down call from McNeil. And a short pickup. Deron Cherry, who played for Carson in Kansas City, said when he first met Bud Carson, he thought Carson was a madman. But now Cherry says he's the best he ever played for.
It's a high compliment. The different styles in the two defenses, the defensive coordinators, is Carson's is the more complicated. The Chiefs with Walt Corey is very simple. Be aggressive, be physical, and be simple.
The type of reaction you bring out when people meet you for the first time. They say he's a madman. It's a 3rd down and 2 at the 38. McNeil tried to go outside but could not. Dino Hackett up to make the stop. There's Hackett, number 56. He has had a terrific rookie season. And the Jet punting unit has come out. Jeff Smith will drop back. And Dave Jennings will punt from inside his 20. There's Smith, 2nd-year man from Nebraska, and the veteran Jennings. 4:11 remaining in the 2nd quarter.
The good special teams and all the punts that have been blocked by this Kansas City Chief team has caused the punters to hurry a lot of their punts and not punt as well.
No problem that time. Jennings getting it away. And here's the return by Smith. Good coverage. And the Jets' coverage on punt returns has been superb. A 40-yard punt and a loss of 2 on the return. Well, backup running back Marion Barber, a question mark for today because of a shin injury, but he's in there and has been outstanding on the special teams. Barber getting to Smith for the loss on the punt return, his 3rd special teams tackle of the day. Just under 4 to go. First half, the Jets 14, the Chiefs 6. Chiefs first down from their 25-yard line. Green and Smith now, the running backs. Good job, boy. And it's completed to Marshall. Out of the 29, Jerry Holmes on the stop, an advance of 4.
Talking with the Jets earlier today, they felt they matched up very well with the Chiefs. Chiefs offense not playing so well. The Jets defense has not played that well of late, and offensively they felt good with Pat Ryan going against the aggressive Chiefs defense. Things have worked out for them so far.
2nd and 6. Kansas City from their 29. And Blackledge rifles it. Intended for Marshall. That is the first time he has looked to go deep. Harry Hamilton on the coverage of Henry Marshall.
Marshall's just going to go straight down the field as you see him goes inside of Holmes. Now Hamilton reads it the entire way. One of the things, and he went right through his hands, one of the things you have to do, Marv, is look off the free safety, and Blackledge was not doing that yesterday in practice, and again not doing it today, and it's very difficult to try and complete something down the field if you don't look the safeties off.
Now Blackledge has a 3rd down and 6. The crowd getting into it. 4 wideouts for the KC Chiefs. Blackledge under pressure. The combination of Gastineau and Baldwin getting to the quarterback, Todd Blackledge, plus some extracurricular activity.
And Marv, quarterbacks read the paper and the injured list just like anybody else. Blackledge knows Gastineau is back. He's looking for him, looking around, and so is the entire offensive line. That allowed the other Jets to get in there and put pressure on him. But that is one thing about the presence of a Mark Gastineau. He may not get there, but he can cause everybody else to look his way.
And Gastineau has been given full credit for the sack. He had only 2 sacks this regular season. Here's Lewis Colbert with the punt. Kurt Sohn steps out at about the 38. A 36-yard punt, and the Jets will take over, but Jets and Chiefs players continue to jaw at each other. So it'll be a first down for the Jets from their 38.
Blackledge is looking downfield, but you can be sure he feels the pressure. That's Baldwin, 95. Gastineau grabs a hold and gets pressure and credit for the sack, but and he's going to take credit. You know, as some people may like this and some may not, but one thing it does do for the Jets, it tells them that things are back to normal.
Play action for Pat Ryan on first down. Can't find anyone. And is brought down by Hackett. Nino Hackett getting to the quarterback, Pat Ryan. You know, going into today, Bob, many felt, and asking the question as you look at the overview of the game, is the Jet game plan to stop the Kansas City defense from scoring.
But you're right. You know, you cannot take chances when you take a team like the Chiefs, who are very aggressive defensively and have so many turnovers. I'm sure that's one of the main concerns of Walton and Ryan, is not to turn the ball over.
But it has gone the Jet way. A 14-6 lead. We approach 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Sohn, 87 in motion. Now Toon has the first down. And some more. Hackett pushed him out. And this is a chant that the Jets have not heard in some time. The reaction to Toon, who just went 30 yards on the pass play. We're just under 2 minutes to go, first half. When we resume, the Jets will be first down.
Now look, they get a man-to-man over here on half the field on Toon. Single coverage, and he is the greatest in the National Football League. Breaking tackles, breaks one from Ross, breaks one from Burris, gets some extra yardage.
The end result, Jets first down at the Kansas City 37. Play action, and Ryan steps up and is able to complete at the 30 to the tight end Mickey Schuler. Tim Cofield covered him up. It'll be a 2nd and 3. The Jets in their hurry up with 1 minute and 40 remaining. First half. Now McNeil found the hole, has the first down. Hackett on the tackle, and the clock has been stopped. Timeout called by the Jets. 1 minute 34 remaining. First half. We'll be back in a moment. The Jets 14, Kansas City 6. The Jets first down at the Chiefs 23. And Ryan has Schuler over the middle for another Jet first down. Deron Cherry had some difficulty bringing Schuler down. Back to the hurry up.
Short passes, Marv. Short passes.
It is a first down at the 11. And it's broken up. Intended for Schuler. Lloyd Burris, the strong safety, got a piece of it.
Ball was right there, and an excellent play by Burris.
The Jets, sparked by Ryan, who took over for Ken O'Brien, has come to life here in this first half.
They're doing it with the running of McNeil and the short passing of Pat Ryan.
Raymond McNeil, 70 yards on 17 carries.
You know, Marv, the other thing that the change in quarterbacks has done is allowed Joe Walton to call plays for a different style of quarterback.
And here is Ryan, who is 11 for 16, throwing it high and far. He saw Wesley Walker was covered, so he threw it away.
Let's line up and call another play. I didn't like that play. Throw it out of bounds. I'm not going to throw it in there and make an interception. He wants to come out at least with 3. One more chance for a touchdown.
Pat Ryan, out of Tennessee in his 9th season in the NFL, had an injury-hit collegiate career. was used in passing situations in Tennessee's run-oriented offense. He is more mobile than O'Brien. Consider him a solid short to medium range passer. Doesn't have the long arm that O'Brien possesses. 8th play of the drive. 3rd down, 10. Ryan with a bullet. Touchdown. Al Toon on an 11-yard pass play, and the Jets lead Kansas City 20-6.
Toon was lined up at tight end, Marv. The motion helped disguise where he was lined up, and Toon, who is a good possession receiver, just slips down to the middle of the end zone and takes the reception.
Al Toon caught 8 touchdown passes during the regular season. 8 plays, 62 yards, and Pat Leahy adds to the lead. 59 seconds left, first half, and the Jets now lead Kansas City 21-6.
Let's take a look at that play. Toon lined up at tight end right here. The motion man is going to come downfield. The other back is going to come out, but Toon not getting all the attention because he's not moving. The moving men get the attention. Toon slips downfield and then hooks inside of the linebacker. It's an easy throw for Pat Ryan. Walton calls the plays.
And Joe Walton, who has spent a very long 5-week period, now has seen his club score 21 unanswered against Kansas City.
Took a lot of criticism the last 5 weeks, and it's tough to change quarterbacks. He may have done it a little late. He should have done it last week or the week before, but the point is he's done it, and he's getting production out of that position.
Now, you would have taken O'Brien out last week against Cincinnati.
When the game was out of hand, there was no purpose in leaving O'Brien in the game to get battered and bruised and throw more interceptions.
Kickoff by Leahy, taken by Moriarty. Larry Moriarty with a good return. Bumped out by Miano, a 26-yard return. Now, during the regular season, Pat Ryan threw only 2 touchdowns. You may recall back in week number 6 in a big victory over the Patriots. This the first of 2 thrown by Ryan, leading to Mickey Schuler for a 24-0 Jet lead. The Jets then had a fight to hold on as the Patriots came back, led by Steve Grogan, and the Jets won it 31-24. As it turns out, their biggest victory of the season.
Ryan has started 2 games this year, both against playoff teams, Denver and New England, and the Jets have won them both.
First down from the 31. 54 seconds left in this first half. And Blackledge has Green. Green tripped up. Bobby Humphrey got a piece of him. Clock is running. We're down to 40 seconds. Kansas City looks to go hurry up. 2nd down and 7. Blackledge could not find anyone. And now picking deep for Carson, and almost picked off by Johnny Lynn. Carlos Carson, the intended receiver. The clock is stopped with 24 seconds left, first half.
Blackledge is having his problems down back there. Let's look downfield to see what the coverage was. Right there, now he sees him scrambling around. He'll have more extra time. Carson would have had it were it not for Lynn coming over and knocking the play, busting up the play. But I don't know, Marv. Blackledge seems to be struggling a little bit back there.
7 for 10 now, only 48 yards. That includes the 11-yard loss on the deflected pass to Boyce Green. And here's Green. So Kansas City not taking any chances, and he is snowed under. And the Jet defensive unit is sparked. 14 seconds remaining in the half, and a timeout called. Bob Crable gets credit for the tackle, and John Makovic is not a happy man. Coming up at halftime, NFL 86, Bob Costas, along with Ahmad Rashad and Paul McGuire, will be chatting with Don Shula, who is hooked up from his Miami home. And once again, he will explain why he gave Bob Greasy the hook on a couple of occasions. And justifiably so, Bob.
Yes, it was. It's a tough decision, though. When do you take your quarterback out? When do you change? It's been tough for Walton. I think until you've done it one time, it's very difficult, and it's, you know, Shula has done it a few times. He did it in Baltimore, he did it in Miami, and it's a tough decision.
How annoyed were you? Now you can tell. At Shula.
Well, we hadn't scored in 3 games, so it's pretty understandable. Even if it's not the quarterback's fault, if you change the quarterback, you get everybody's attention. But it was, I'm not saying it wasn't my fault.
Right, implying it wasn't your fault. He had to make a move.
No.
All right, Bob. The punt from Colbert. Good pressure by the Jets. And the fair catch by Sohn with 7 seconds remaining. 43-yard punt right at the start. You mentioned, aside from the quarterback change, you felt the key for the Jets would be the play of Freeman McNeil, and once again, McNeil has come through.
He's playing very well. As you take a look at what he has done today, 70 yards in the first half. He just seems to be the settling force in that offense. Early in the season, O'Brien took it away from him. O'Brien played so well. Toon and Walker caught 20 touchdown passes the first 11 games, that it was O'Brien overshadowing McNeil. Now they need to get back to McNeil, and he's coming through today.
Final seconds of the half as McNeil carries, and the Jets hear it from this capacity crowd at the New Jersey Meadowlands. Mark Gastineau doing some cheerleading at the far side. The Jets with a 21-6 lead over the Kansas City Chiefs. The winner will go against the Cleveland Browns next Saturday in Cleveland. So a 21-6 Jet lead at halftime, and I thought the wise move in the first half, aside from the good play of Pat Ryan, was the fact that even though there were short passes, he was able to get Wesley Walker and Al Toon involved very early.
Well, he was, and he was moving the ball around, too. You weren't always running on first down. He was running left a lot, but also throwing on first down. Toon and Walker have not been in this offense the last 5 weeks, and you're right. They got him involved, and I think it picks up the whole team.
So the Jets at halftime leading the Kansas City Chiefs.
And of course, the story here in Washington the last couple of days was your missed practice a couple of days ago. You were subsequently fined $1,000 and issued an apology. I think everyone wants to know where you were and if the reasons were serious ones.
Well, I wouldn't say serious. You know, I think that what happened is during the course of the week, certain things in my contract that I wasn't happy with, and of course that led to something else. I reacted out of childishness and not knowing that my responsibility, and I just didn't come.
Did you offer to take a urinalysis?
Yes, I did. Yeah, there's no question about it. I'll leak for you right now.
And what did the Redskins say?
They didn't say anything to me about it. My understanding was that they took my word for it, and that was it.
All right, let's get to the game now. Eric Dickerson, #1 priority?
Well, Eric Dickerson is definitely our #1 priority, but we can't put a lot of focus on Eric because I think that Jim Eric and they have a lot of wideouts that really can hurt us. So I think what we're going to have to do is really focus on just the team itself, not one individual.
Has this season been especially rewarding for you? I know that you were miffed at not making the Pro Bowl, and this year, of course, you're on your way to Hawaii.
Well, yes, I would say, I mean, it's been a very good year for me, but I think last week put a damper on it because of my childish mistakes and the things that I did. I reacted out of just selfishness and really wasn't thinking of my teammates. So I would say I've had a good year, and hopefully
How did your teammates respond to this?
Oh, to my knowledge, I really don't even know. I made an apology to them last night in the team meeting. I think that's the most important thing. But I think more than that is that I think they're sticking with me because I have to come out here and play today.
All right, Dexter, good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Dexter Manley, let's send you back to New York. Right?
In progress, the Chiefs scoring on their first drive, not doing anything in the second quarter. Second quarter stats, no first downs, and a -7 yards passing. Not the way you want to play in a wild card game.
Set for the kickoff. Pat Leahy getting set to boot it. Jeff Smith, second-year player out of Nebraska, the deep man, flanked by Boyce Green and Larry Moriarty. And it carried by Smith. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Now look at the complete first half statistical picture.
First downs 14-5 and total yardage 191-58. The Kansas City Chiefs not doing anything offensively. We mentioned they're last in the league offense, and they're second last in possession time. So the time of possession is really nothing there either. The surprising thing, or the thing that they're looking for and not getting, no turnovers by their defense and no big plays on special teams.
So Todd Blackledge, 7 for 10, only 48 yards. Starting out this third quarter. And looking for the pass. And it's intercepted. Kevin McArthur on a 21-yard touchdown interception return.
Todd Blackledge, the tight end in the flat. Linebacker had him well covered.
The pass intended for tight end Jonathan Hayes. Kevin McArthur, a first-year player out of Lamar, scoring his first ever NFL touchdown. He was signed as a free agent when Lance Bell was injured. He was in the Jet training camp this summer for a third straight tryout. He had spent some time with the Raiders 2 years ago. A big moment in the career of Kevin McArthur as Leahy puts it through. Ryan put down a high snap, and the Jets scoring quickly, lead it 28-6.
The AFC wildcard game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By GTE. GTE. And by the United States Marine Corps. We're looking for a few good men.
Inside linebacker Kevin McArthur, who just picked it off for a 21-yard touchdown return, certainly enjoying the moment. You look for a switch by the Chiefs. Can you see Bill Kenny for Todd Blackledge?
I think you got to start thinking about it. Kenny has the experience, and they need somebody in there that has that experience that can bring him from behind and score some touchdowns.
Again, nice coverage by the Jets, led by Rich Miano to stop Jeff Smith.
Let's go back and take a look. Here's Hayes. He's going to go into the flat. Now, right here is McArthur. He's going to see it and cut right underneath him. As you'll see, the coverage is there. Hayes was in motion, not a very good route. McArthur is right there. The ball should not have been thrown to Hayes. It should have been thrown downfield or incomplete.
And John Malkovich staying with Todd Blackledge. Of course, we do not know for certain the extent of the injury suffered by Bill Kenny, although he did look pretty good yesterday in practice. First down from the 18. Boyce Green. Perhaps picked up a yard. Bob Crable on the stop.
There's nothing that will demoralize a team quicker than to come out in the second half and have your quarterback throw the first pass for an interception and a touchdown for the other team.
And Bill Kenny is warming up.
I think he can throw all right, Marv, as you see him catching the ball left-handed to protect that right hand. It's just a question of how much beating he can take when you get the ball from center on the snap.
Second down and 9. Green has carried 5 times for only 6 yards. He has been stifled, and a rejection by Rusty Gilbo. So Rusty Gilbo using his 6'4" to swat it down.
But Carson likes to blitz with Gilbo because he is big and strong, and he's hard to block by a back in the backfield. This time, no chance for Blackledge. And if the man is there, you have to step around or do something. You just don't throw it into his arms if he's leaping in the air.
Todd Blackledge began the season as the starting quarterback, lost the job after 7 games, returned to the lineup 3 weeks ago when Bill Kenny was hurt, led Kansas City to the victory over Denver. Overall, he started 8 games and went 5-3, and the same record for Bill Kenny. Now goes sideline and able to complete to Henry Marshall for the first down. Bobby Humphrey on the coverage. 11-yard pass play.
Marshall to the right of your screen. It's going to go down and break to the outside. Page, the inside receiver, is going to go deep. Now, if the man that was between him would have come up to cover Marshall, then Blackledge would have thrown to Page deeper downfield.
Kansas City first down, just inside their 30. Minute 15 gone by. Third quarter, the Jets 28, the Chiefs 6. Stephon Page in motion. Boyce Green with flags thrown. Green stopped at the line by Barry Bennett. And here's Red Cashin calling the offside against the Jets.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 94 on the defense. Still first down.
And that is the second time this afternoon that Rusty Gilbo, number 94, has done just that.
Well, it used to be Joe Klecko lining up offsides, jumping offsides. Now it's Gilbo, but mentioned Klecko, take a man out of the defense to really affect him. Klecko probably the defensive player of the year the first half of the season when he was in there. Just caused all kinds of chaos for an offensive line.
A moment ago, that first down pass to Marshall, Kansas City's first down since back in the first quarter. Now 1st and 5. And was broken up. Boyce Green could not hold. Bob Crable covering. Blackledge telegraphing his passes?
Sometimes, Mark, a quarterback has got to be an actor. You have to look one way, even if you know you're going to throw it to the right. You can't look right the whole time. You've got to look down the field. You've got to look short or right and be an actor. Set things up. Yes, he is telegraphing. He's looking too long. Sometimes you set up a defensive lineman. You act like you don't see him, and at the last minute to avoid the rush, then you step out of the way. So you got to be a little bit of a ham to wear a number in the teens.
Like yourself. 2nd down and 5 at the 35. Juggling act by Page, and he took a hammer. Bobby Humphrey with the hard hit on Stephon Page. So Page on the end around.
Humphrey says, I'm covering Page no matter where he is. Here's Page. Here's Humphrey. Page is going to come by and get the ball, and Humphrey's going to come over and say, you're not running away from me. Snap, inside handoff. Page fumbles a little bit, slows it down. Now nobody is blocking Humphrey because he's got coverage. Everybody else went downfield to block. Humphrey says, I've got the speed to catch you.
Loss of 1, 3rd and 6 at the 34. The Jets leading Kansas City 28-6 for early 3rd quarter. Blackledge with the time but couldn't find anyone and has the first down and some more. Blackledge to midfield on a 16-yard run.
Good play by Blackledge. The reason this works, man coverage downfield, the coverage is too good. Nobody for him to throw to, and then everybody's busy downfield covering somebody. There's nobody in the center of the field to cover the quarterback, and he picks up about 15 yards and a first down.
Ball spotted at the 48. A reminder, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion. Stephon Page in motion. Blackledge in trouble. And bumped out by Lyons. A lot of effort, though, by Todd Blackledge. Blackledge getting back to the line of scrimmage. Lyons gets credit for the sack. Marty Lyons, who made his way back last week despite the sore shoulder, and he has been playing with a harness, and he is not 100%.
I think John Makovic is probably, as we look at Marty Lyons, maybe going to Kinney pretty soon if Blackledge doesn't get something done on this drive.
Page lining up slot left. And the 30-second clock showing a 0. Let's see if they call for the timeout. Apparently he did, so he did beat the clock, and a timeout is called. The arm to avoid the 30-second clock. 2nd and 10 at the 48. Jeff Smith picked up 2. And it'll be a 3rd down and 8. Lester Lyles looking to bounce back from a poor game in Cincinnati last week, making the stop.
There's Bill Kenny getting a little restless on the sideline. Marv, the Chiefs are not going to be able to run against the Jets. The Jets can stop the Chiefs running game while they're rushing the passer, and you need some experience that Kenny has to get in the ball game and do it. I don't think that Blackledge has got the confidence about him that he can bring this team back, and I think if Kenny can go at all and taking the snaps from center, that he'll be the man that's going to bring him back if they're going to get back in this football game.
Gastineau back in for this 3rd down and 8. And a 1st down catch by Carlos Carson. Johnny Lynn on the stop, a 16-yard pass play. Just a moment ago, Marty Lyons looking very shaky as he headed to the sideline.
Look at his left hand there, his left forearm. Let's go back and take a look at Carson coming off the line of scrimmage. Carter forces him inside to Lynn, 29. Carson makes a nice break to the outside. Lynn comes up to make the tackle.
Carson's first catch of the day. 85, the tight end, Jonathan Hayes now lining up on the right side. Carson in motion. And here's Green on a sweep. And hit down across the 30 by Kyle Clifton. Boyce Green, who last week returned a kickoff for 97 yards and a touchdown, has averaged about 3.5 yards per carry. The Kansas City running game has not done it all season. Mike Pruitt led the team in rushing with only 448 yards on the ground, and he is out because of a sprained knee. He's on injured reserve.
The rushing game is 27th in the National Football League, so we're not surprising anybody by not being able to run here today.
Marty Lyons is back. 2nd down and 3. Play action. Blackledge eluding Baldwin, running for the 1st down, and has it. So Todd Blackledge doing it on the ground.
And you have to be able to scramble, Marv, because there are going to be times when the coverage is downfield. One of the interesting differences today from the Jet defense last week, as we take a look at the coverage being there, is that Bud Carson is not blitzing his linebackers and not committing his defense secondary to one-on-one coverage. They're playing a lot of zone. There's a lot of coverage downfield, and I think he feels as though just contain them and we can beat them.
Kansas City 1st down at the Jet 24. Kansas City Chiefs did not pick up a 1st down in the 2nd quarter. They're trailing 28-6. 8.5 remaining, 3rd quarter. Green and Moriarty are the runners. Blackledge for the end zone and broken up. Jerry Holmes got a piece of it. It was intended for Henry Marshall.
Every time he looks downfield, there's coverage there by the Jets. He's getting Foster, getting pressure up front from Foster, and downfield he's getting coverage. Just take a look. 98 is Foster in the inside there, as you saw a little loop, a little game. Addix 51. I mean, it's Donnelly 51 and Addix 61, both trying to do some protecting up front. Jets getting a good pass rush off of their front 4.
Rome Foster, recent addition to the squad. One-time Miami Dolphin. 13th play of the drive, 2nd and 10. And here's Moriarty. Harry Hamilton, the free safety, stopping Larry Moriarty, who spent part of the season with Houston. acquired in a trade back in October. He was a starter for the Oilers. In fact, back in '84 in Houston, he had a career-high 138-yard game against the Jets. He just picked up 6, setting up a 3rd down and 4 at the 18.
The Chiefs have not got that speed back in their backfield. They're all fullback types. You got Moriarty and Green, Smith and Hurd. Ever since the loss of Joe Delaney, they have not had a speed back in the backfield. Most every team in the league has a good halfback.
3rd down and 4. And Blackledge completes over the middle. Paul Kaufman, the veteran tight end, appears to be short of the 1st down. Kaufman, the one-time Green Bay Packer and a 3-time Pro Bowl man, is short of that 1st down. 4th and about 1.
Saw the signal there. The 2 fists together means double tight end. They're going with their big offensive linemen, both Alt, number 76, and Attic, 61, will go to the tight end positions. And number 73, Josviak, their number 1 draft choice, will go to the moving back. Big offensive line.
Crowd urging the defense on. Boy screen following Moriarty and stop. Derlin Moore, the first to get to Boy screen.
It's been the Achilles heel for the Chiefs all year long. They have not been very good in short yardage situations. And a lot of times, Marv, when you go to those big offensive linemen, the defense knows you can't throw. So they really, as we look at it from a reverse angle, they slant toward the blocking back. Derlin Moore, 74, gets in there and runs up the pursuit lane. The Jets, with a good defense, turn it over.
Mark Gastineau, Marty Lyons, both instrumental in the excellent defensive play by the Jets today. A 15-play drive for naught for Kansas City. Jets take over. First time their offense has appeared on the field in the second half. Freeman McNeil muscling his way out to the 23-yard line. Strong safety Lloyd Burris on the stop. It'll be a 2nd down. 2nd and 3 upcoming.
Not many times you have the ball 15 plays and you come away with nothing. At the time the Chiefs going for it on 4th down and not being successful, and you have to convert 3rd and short, 4th and short, especially when you're down by 22 points.
McNeil has the 1st down, led by the right tackle, Gordon King.
McNeil having the kind of day that we thought he might have. And you can be sure that they're going to continue just to eat up the clock and the yardage on the ground with Freeman McNeil.
84 yards, 20 carries for McNeil. 1st down for the Jets from their 33. Up front, Joe Fields, the center, Guy Bingham, Dan Alexander, the guards, Jim Sweeney and Gordon King are the tackles. 89 Cleaver in motion. Stopped by Kit Lathrop.
On the right of your screen, let's take a look at 70 Lathrop as he beats the block back by Bingham, runs around it and gets in there and makes a nice play, almost causing a fumble.
Lathrop in his 3rd year out of Arizona State. He plays as the 4th down lineman. Usually in passing situations, caused a loss of 3. 2nd and 13 back at the 25. Toon could not hold on. That's the type of pass he usually comes up with. Kevin Ross on the cover.
Well, that wasn't Toon's fault. O'Brien, thinking that he was going to slide a little bit further to the inside, had the ball hanging inside. Now watch Toon as he goes down, lets the man to the top of your screen clear, and then goes to the inside. Now, Ryan thought he was going to be a little bit further into the center of the field. It's the problem you have, Ryan has, when you don't work with the team in practice a lot.
Here's McNeil. And the Jets Jets come up short of the first down. You're talking about taking the proper number of snaps. Of course, Ken O'Brien, as the starter, has been the key guy during practice sessions.
Up until this week, O'Brien has taken all the snaps in practice, and Ryan just works with the scout team, never gets to work with their own offense. I disagree with that, because as we look at O'Brien and Ryan getting together, Ryan must have a headache or something. I don't know. But I disagree with that. I think what you have to do is you're one play away from going to your backup, and I think he needs to get some work in practice with your offense.
Dave Jennings in punt formation. Back at the 17, and he's punting to Jeff Smith. And that's the closest the Chiefs have come. Good roll. Here's Smith. Jennings said the other day, as he got off a 45-yard punt, he didn't expect that Kansas City would come up big on special teams, because usually clubs will do well after a club like Kansas City has done well. That was rudely interrupted by a commercial message as we went into the break. The Kansas City special team came in with a very impressive record, but they have not done it thus far today.
Their offense didn't have done much coming in. Their defense had set them up, and their special teams, and no turnovers for their defense and no big plays for the special teams.
First down from the 30 for Blackledge from Kansas City. Blackledge hit hard. Pass intended for Page. Barry Bennett with the hard hit of the quarterback, Todd Blackledge.
Jets getting some good pressure from their front three in non-passing situations. Of course, Crable occupying a couple of men, Lutz 72, allows Bennett one-on-one. And Blackledge, that's not the one-on-one he'd like to have. Bennett outweighs him probably 60, 70 pounds.
Jets have come up with 2 sacks and 4 pressures. And we're told they're still working on the shoulder of Marty Lyons, who did check back in after he was shaken up. Second down and 10. That's Carson, 88, in motion. Back to the ground for Green. Green out to the 33. Picked up 3 on the play. It'll be a third down and 7.
You have 4 minutes left to play, and the Chiefs are down by 22 points, Marv. It's going to be a point in time pretty soon here where you're not going to be able to fool around with running plays. They're not working for them, and you're going to have to go to the pass exclusively.
Marshall to the right, Carson left. 3:40 to go in this third quarter. Again, the pressure on Blackledge. And again, Blackledge running for the first down. Harry Hamilton tripped him up. So Blackledge keeps the series alive, running for 15.
Blackledge, the leading ground gainer on this team pretty soon. Again, it's a broken play. Coverage is downfield. Foster taking the outside charge, gets a hand on him. Again, man-to-man coverage, everybody turned away running after the receiver, and Blackledge gets downfield for a first down. But the Jets will let him do that all the way down the field if he doesn't complete any big plays.
So Blackledge has outrushed his running backs. First down at the 48. Boyce Green on the reception, and submarine by Bob Crable. Crable had an outstanding game last week, one of the few bright spots for the Jets against the Bengals in Cincinnati, a homecoming for Crable, who attended Moeller High School in Cincinnati, and he has been strong today.
He was about the only Jet that played well last week, as we see a little screen. Lutz out there blocking on Crable, and a nice sidestep by Crable avoids the blocker and makes the tackle.
Boyce Green has not had himself a wonderful day. He's caught 4 passes from -1 yard. Second and 10. Blackledge to the sideline for nothing. Henry Marshall wrestled down by Russell Carter.
And again, Marv, the reason they're throwing those short passes to Marshall and to Boyce Green behind the line of scrimmage is because the Jets secondary is deep in zones. They're not doing what they did last week against Cincinnati, blitzing and committing their defensive backs one-on-one. They're keeping a lot of people deep, always a man in the middle of the field, no big plays for the Chiefs, and they're stopping their run as they rush to pass.
At one time, Kansas City coordinator Bud Carson, now with the Jets. has enjoyed what he has seen thus far today. The Jet defense has done the job. They have closed down the Chiefs. 3rd down and 8. Blackledge going deep, and it's intercepted by Carter. Russell Carter, bumped out by Larry Moriarty, and the Jets get the ball back. A minute 6 to go. 3rd quarter. We'll be right back. The season, in fact, this is first since week 15 back in the 1984 season against the Buffalo Bills.
And yet we're told that Carter is the best man-to-man coverage man on the team as we look at Bill Kenny warming up on the sideline.
So the Jets first down from their 40. A minute 6 left, 3rd quarter. McNeil took a hard hit out to the 44.
Let's go back and take a look at the interception. Here's Carter. The receiver that he's throwing to is going to run this pattern right here. Now Carter is going to sneak back and pick the ball off. This coverage is such that it's a 2-deep zone. Carter is not supposed to be back there, but he has vision into the backfield, sees that Blackledge is looking that way, and follows his eyes and goes back and pick it off. That's why I'm saying you have to look around and look the defensive backs off.
3rd turnover. 2 have resulted in Jet touchdowns. Jets 2nd and 6 at the 44. And Ryan got hit from behind. Bill Moss, 3-year man from Pittsburgh, coming up with the sack.
Moss has been held in check pretty much today by Joe Fields. This time Fields 65 is beaten. What happens on that, Fields is expecting Ryan to roll a little bit further, and Moss just throws him aside, gets around him, and makes the tackle.
Chiefs' 2nd sack of the day, the other by Dino Hackett. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, the Jets 28, the Kansas City Chiefs 6. We'll be back after these words from your local station. See Meadowlands as we get underway, 4th quarter, and the Jets leading Kansas City in this AFC wild card game by the score of 28-6. 3rd down and 13. Catch by McNeil, but short of the first down. Kevin Ross on the coverage. Coming up following the Jets in Kansas City on NFL 86. We will visit both the Jets and Kansas City locker rooms, and we'll also hear reaction from the Cleveland Browns, who are waiting in the wings. The winner today will play at Cleveland next Saturday. We'll also be previewing the NFC wild card game. 4th down, and Dave Jennings will punt from his 29-yard line. His 4th punt of the day. Jeff Smith is back, and it is blocked. So the Chiefs get one.
Albert Lewis.
And it's a touchdown. Albert Lewis, who explodes, blocking the Jennings punt, which is a rarity. Albert Lewis, who blocked the punt against Pittsburgh last week, that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. This is his 4th block punt of the season.
4 block punts and 1 tackled punter, which is in effect 5 times he's got there before the punter kicked the football. The special teams, again, bringing the Chiefs back, giving them some life, putting them back in this ball game, Marv.
And that was a solid block by Albert Lewis. Nick Lowry, who missed his earlier extra point attempt, putting it through. And the Chiefs now trail by the score of 28-13.
Students are always going places. Now there's a powerful computer that can go with them, the IBM PC Convertible. It goes from chemistry to economics, from ancient civilization to modern civilization. The IBM PC Convertible is a smart gift because students can carry an IBM computer anywhere, even into the future.
Listen to the heartbeat.
a truck you can lean on. America knows nothing works like a tough Chevy truck.
That's today's Chevy truck.
In the look-alike world of financial services, one stands out. It's one of America's strongest diversified financial experts. A fortress of insurance protection for group medical care and employee benefits. A master architect of financial growth in pensions, mutual funds, and real estate investments. It's the Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
The AFC wildcard game is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by IBM.
Kansas City Chiefs with their first point scored since the opening drive of the game. So special teams coach Crash Gans strikes in the person of Albert Lewis, popular guy. Crash Gans, who was special teams coach here and then went on to Philadelphia, and then here he is back with the Chiefs.
They love him. When the special teams meet, a lot of the players that aren't normally on special teams will go in anyway. Yeah. They say, hey, Gans is on. Let's go ahead and hear him. He's a great motivational speaker and does a great job motivating his players.
And here's Lowry with a little pop taken by Page. Tony Page, one of the up men, gets out to the 39-yard line. Again, the Chiefs look to keep it away from Townsell and Humphrey. Humphrey returned one last week for 96 yards.
Let's go back and take a look at Albert Lewis's block of the punt. 29 is Albert Lewis. Now he gets inside of 31 Barber right there, and he gets back and knows how to block a punt. This is one thing that Gans says. A lot of guys don't know how to block punts when they get there. We show them how to block punts. Certainly Lewis knows how to do it.
On the kickoff, offside called on Kansas City. It's declined. Jets take over at the 39. First punt that Dave Jennings has had blocked as a member of the Jets back in '84 with the Giants. A year that he'd like to forget about. He had 3 blocked punts. First down from the 39. And again, McNeil. We're just underway in this fourth quarter. Six-yard pickup. That'll be a second down and 4. McNeil, the lone deep back. Schuler in motion. McNeil. Short pickup. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs opened the season against the Cincinnati Bengals. And perhaps this a preview for the future as the Chiefs' first touchdown of the season, only a minute and 42 into the game, came on that block punt of Mark Robinson. Deron Cherry able to recover it in the end zone for the score, and the Chiefs went on to win it 24-14. The special teams has had a magnificent season. 6 block punts coming into today, 3 blocked field goals, a block conversion, and 5 touchdowns in all. Third down and 2. And Ryan puts it up. Altoon. But the first down and a fumble. McNeil recovered.
You can see as the Chiefs are trying to tackle the Jet players, they're going for the ball. The first man there didn't get it, but the second man knocked it free. Let's take a look at it from the opposite side of the field. Burris is there and knocks it free right there. Number 34, Lloyd Burris. But McNeil for the Jets is there to recover it. The thing that special teams touchdown has done for the Chiefs, Marv, is given some life back to this football team. They're back in this game, and that missed extra point looms larger right now.
McNeil off the left side. And a very short pickup. Art Still on the stop. Art Still 4 times to the Pro Bowl and was a second alternate this season. Led the Chiefs with 10.5 sacks. Second down and 9. At the Kansas City 48, 12:45 to go. Fourth quarter, the Jets 28 and the Chiefs 13. McNeil has run for 101 yards on 26 carries. And Ryan for Walker. He underthrew, but Walker came up with it. What a play by Wesley Walker. He had a cut back in front of Lloyd Burris. A 38-yard pass play.
Give credit, Marv, to Walton for calling the play, because the Chiefs are in a similar type of defense to what the Bears would play last year. It's called a Bear defense. They're stacked against the run. They're not playing the pass. The ball was underthrown, and Walker comes back and makes a big play for the Jets. But they were stacked against the run to stop the Jet running game.
Ron Cherry thought he was about to intercept, but instead Walker came back for a second catch of the day.
Well, Cherry didn't go up and catch the ball at its highest point. One of the things that a defensive back is taught very early.
First and goal for McNeil. McNeil running hard to the 7. Cofield, the outside linebacker, and Paul make the stop.
There's that last reception right there. Cherry jumps and waits for the ball around his waist, and Walker gets up a little bit higher and makes the reception.
Wesley Walker, who has been very quiet the past few weeks, getting back into the offense here today. Ball placed at the 6, second and goal from the 6. 81 is Griggs in motion. Ryan for Griggs in a surprise touchdown. Billy Griggs, who did not catch a pass during the regular season. A second-year player from Virginia was wide open, and Ryan found him.
Joe Walton pulling out all the plays in his bag of tricks. Very similar to early in the season when everything he called went the right way.
And here's Pat Leahy. So Billy Griggs with his first National Football League touchdown.
Griggs was in motion, started going back across the formation from where he came. That makes the defensive man think he's going back, and he wasn't. Big play for the Jets to answer that special teams touchdown by Kansas City.
All right, Bob, and as you saw, Billy Griggs with his first NFL touchdown and first ever catch in the NFL, and Griggs involved on the stop here.
Well, at least he didn't forget how to catch a pass.
And now Bill Kenny has come on. He came on briefly when Blackledge was shaken up in the first half. What do you think, Bob? Too late?
Well, I think better late than never. I should have been in maybe a series or two before. Blackledge had not done anything since the first drive of the game.
Kansas City, first down from the 40. And Kenny swings it for Green. Boyce Green picked up 8 on the play. Crable stopped him. Todd Blackledge, 12 for 21, only 80 yards, and intercepted twice. The interception by the linebacker, Kevin MacArthur, really hurt to open up the second half.
It certainly did, and Blackledge has had an up-and-down year. It seems as though his confidence is not what it should be, and obviously Makovic would rather have started with Kenny and played him the full way. He's more experienced. He throws the ball better to Carson, his favorite target. Carson coming back for this game, but he's in there now, and he's got an uphill battle.
Injury on the field. Mark Addix, the right guard, being helped off. Pat Ryan has had an excellent day, 16 for 23. And
not big numbers, though, for Ryan. Again, Freeman McNeil set the table for Ryan to come on and do a good job. 3 touchdowns, of course, is the production part of it. The 154 yards is Not a lot of yardage by today's standards in passing, but he gets the job done. Ran the offense well and did the things that he needed to do.
Pat Ryan, that equals a career high, throwing 3 touchdowns in a game. Mark Addix departing, the right guard from Baylor, by way of the USFL. 2nd down and 3. Penalty flag thrown. Boyce Green running for the 1st down. He's stopped by Bob Crable. But a marker down. Looks to be an ankle injury suffered by Addix. I'll check that by Green. Boyce Green is down. And this is Addix, who was helped off a moment ago.
74 on the defense. 1st down.
Offside call on Derlin Moore.
Let's go back and take a look and see if we can see where Boyce Green is injured. Oh, right there. The defensive lineman falls on his ankle. That's Crable, number 50. It's that'll get you every time right there.
Right here, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from the New Jersey Meadowlands for this AFC wild card matchup, and the Jets, after losing 5 in a row, going up against the Chiefs, who had won their last 3 to qualify for the playoffs. The Jets with a commanding 35-13 lead. Kansas City got on the board first on a 1-yard run by Jeff Smith. However, the extra point was missed by Nick Lowry. Then it was McNeil on a 4-yard run, plus the extra point for a 7-6 lead. Ryan to McNeil, a 1-yard pass play. Ryan to Toon, an 11-yard touchdown pass. The 21-yard interception by MacArthur, first play of the 2nd quarter, extended it to 28-6. Boyce Green is helped to the sideline. Kansas City finally got one. A block punt by Albert Lewis. That has been their specialty throughout the season. And it was covered up for the touchdown. 28-13 the score at that point. But Ryan just completed a 7-play, 61-yard drive by hitting the tight end Billy Griggs for his first career catch and touchdown. Smith not able to hold on. So it will be a 3rd down and 3. Bill Kenny, who bruised his thumb and sprained a ligament on his index finger last week against Pittsburgh, replacing Todd Blackledge.
An up and down year there for the Chiefs, Marv. They won the last 3 before playing this game, then lost 3, then won 4. Came in streaks for the Chiefs this year.
And they did finish strong. In fact, they finished strong last year, but all it got them was 6-10. Carter on the coverage, pass intended for Emil Harry.
Talking with Bill Kenny yesterday at practice, he was expecting Bud Carson's defense to be a little bit different. He says he blitzes on 2nd down, he blitzes on 3rd down, he blitzes all the time. He's getting a steady diet of zone and safe coverages today, and Bud Carson changing up. Carson usually likes to come out of the locker room blitzing.
3rd down play out of the shotgun. Carlos Carson picking up the 1st down. 27-yard pass play. Getting back to what
Carson is the big receiver for the Chiefs. Was out the last 4 or 5 games with a bad foot. Gets around Carter. Kenny, with a good anticipation, lays the ball to the inside and allows Carson to run into it.
Getting back to what I was saying a moment ago, actually the Chiefs last year finished 6-10 after winning 3 of their first 4. But this season able to win their final 3. Kenny throwing end zone, intended for Carson. Carter on the coverage.
You can see the last 3 passes that have been thrown by Kinney have been directed at Carlos Carson, who is his favorite receiver.
So Kenny is 2 out of 5 for 35 yards and has a 2nd and 10 down at the 20. A 35-13 Jet lead.
The Chiefs have got to score, Marv, and score quickly and do some magic with their special teams because there's not a lot of time left in this ballgame.
Just under 9 minutes left. And that is short of the first down. Paul Kaufman, the tight end, stopped by Kyle Clifton. It'll be a 3rd and 3. The ball spotted at the 14. And Kansas City with the 4 receivers, Harry, Carson, Page, and Marshall. It's not Harry Carson, it's Carlos Carson and Emil Harry. Incomplete, intended for Page. Bill Kenny in his 8th year out of Northern Colorado, looking back at the bench.
Just throws this ball before Page is ready for it. As you see, Page is looking around to see what the coverage is. Throws it behind him. Somebody's undressing him.
Kyle Clifton looking for a Kansas City sock. It's a 4th down and 3. Marshall to the right. Carson left. And Harry in the slot left. Timeout called by Bill Kenny. 8:02 left. 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
And get Coach Don Shula's thoughts about this game today. Coach?
I thought it was real important after Kansas City blocked the punt for the touchdown that the Jets came back with a series and moved it right back and scored to keep that margin there. That was very important for them. Otherwise, Kansas City might have gotten back into it.
What do you think about Ryan? Done a pretty good job?
No question about it. He's made some key plays for him, and he's gotten the job done. It was a steady job for him all day long.
Now, let me say, you said that you would have gone with Ryan, right? I mean, O'Brien.
O'Brien, no question about it.
Okay.
You know, they got Cleveland next week.
Thank you, Coach.
And a vintage photo, a bespectacled Bob Greasy, and a very youthful-looking Don Shula. It's a 4th and 3 as we resume. Kansas City at the Jet. 14, 8 minutes left, 4th quarter. And he swings to Smith. Smith gets inside the 15-yard line.
It's a nice effort for the first down, Marv. A little swing pass. You just say, here, Jeff Smith, I'm going to give you the ball. You break a tackle and get up and make the first down. Gastineau 99's coming from a stand-up position. Eatman cuts him, which allows a nice lane to get the ball out to Smith. Makes a good move and a big first down on 4th and 3.
So it is a 1st and goal. Good tackle on Paul Kaufman by Bob Crable.
Jet defense certainly playing very well today, coming off of that disaster last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, their offense, the #1 offense in the National Football League.
It'll be a 2nd and goal at the 5.
But Carson's got to be pleased with his defense today.
Moriarty and Smith, the running backs. And Kenny has it knocked down. Harry Bennett got a piece of it. Harry Bennett has been the steady man in that Jet front 3. Last year, career high of 7.5 sacks. He has remained healthy most of the way, and he is back on the right side where he has been more effective.
Look to the right. 78 is Bennett as he gets his left arm up. So he had good vision on the quarterback, and a quick release by the quarterback would have gotten the ball past him and not allowed him to knock the ball down.
Third and goal from the 5. Page in motion to the left. They go to the ground. Jeff Smith. Lester Lyles, the strong safety, making the stop at the 2. And it will be a 4th and goal.
Those running plays, Marv, are critical because they keep the clock moving. The Chiefs almost need to be in their 2-minute offense for the last 3 or 4 or 5 minutes because they need points, and a lot of them very quickly.
12th play of this drive.
They can't stand 12-play drives. They need quick ones.
And Kenny throws, broken up by Lyles. Intended for Henry Marshall. Lester Lyles, who goes 6'3", was able to get a piece of it to keep it away from Marshall.
Lester Lyles, who came in with 5 and a couple of forced fumbles, number 26. Now Marshall is open, but Lyles sees that Kenny is looking that way and slides off the man he was covering. Should have had the interception.
The Jets take over at their 2. Lester Lyles, in his 2nd season out of Virginia, 2nd-round draft pick last year, made the good play. 6:01 remaining in this 4th quarter. Freeman McNeil with the short pickup following the Jets and the Chiefs. NFL 86, hosted by Bob Costas, will be checking in at both locker rooms, both the Jets and the Chiefs. We'll hear from the Cleveland Browns on reaction as to who they will be facing next Saturday, and a preview of the NFC wild card game, the kickoff of that game at about 2 minutes after 4 o'clock. So stay with us. 2nd down and 8. The ball at the 4 with 5.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. There's Boyce Green, who had an ankle problem early in this 4th quarter. 89 is Cleaver. McNeil for a yard. Bill Moss closed it.
And look at Bill Kenny on the sideline, and the Chiefs have had 4 possessions in the 2nd half. 2 have ended in interceptions, and one of those was returned for a touchdown. The other 2 possessions ended on 4th down. As you take a look right here, and those long drives, the 15-play drive and the 12-play drive, are great in the first half, but when you're down by 22 points, you need to score a little bit more quickly than that.
And Joe Walton has to be pleased with what has taken place here today. Pat Ryan on the keeper. Joe Walton says that the struggling Ken O'Brien is the Jet quarterback of the future, but he is not the quarterback today. Over the first 11 games, O'Brien threw 23 touchdowns, was intercepted only 8 times, so the Jets fall short of the first down. Over the past 5 losses, O'Brien had thrown only 2 touchdowns and been intercepted 12 times.
Well, you take a look at what he has done the last 5 games, and Marv, when you get in a rut, sometimes the best thing you can do is to be sat down. Now, the quarterback is not going to ask the coach, set me down. The coach has to make that decision, and it's a tough one when it's a quarterback, but there's no question that the fresh breath of air that Ryan has brought has been positive for this team.
All right, Dave Jennings had his last punt blocked, and the previous one was almost blocked. And now punting from his end zone. And letting that clock run down.
Frank Gans, the special teams coach, may be changing off. Jets had a good look at the alignment for the Chiefs.
And in doing so, they took the delay of game. Now the clock activated. Just under 3.5 remaining.
Gans was a popular addition to the squad. He was to the team. He was in Kansas City with Marv Levy, and then went to Philadelphia. And as soon as the Philadelphia staff was fired, Nick Lowry was on his way to the stadium to try and convince John Malkovich to hire him, and he ran into Duron Cherry coming out, and he was jumping up and down. He said, "Did you hear? Did you hear? We got Gans." So everybody was a couple of steps ahead of Nick Lowry.
And Gans receiving a standing ovation on the flight back from Pittsburgh last week. The special teams sparking that victory over the Steelers, despite only 171 yards total offense. Let's see what is going on here. Did they take another delay of game penalty?
They may be getting it close enough where they can get back and just take a safety and get a free kick. I think that's what they're going to do, Marv.
Yes, he runs out of the end zone, so not taking any chances, and that is respect for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No question, and a good call, smart call, going against the top special team unit in the league. Just get a free kick.
Right here, let's go to Bob Costas and NFL 86.
Mark, just another reminder about the post-game show. We'll preview that NFC wildcard matchup between the Rams and the Redskins, which starts a little bit after 4 o'clock. We'll also have locker room interviews with the winning Jets and the losing Chiefs. We'll have the post-game comments of Dolphins coach Don Shula, and we'll visit with some of the Browns, the Jets' next opponent. Let's go back to the Meadowlands.
Thank you, Bob. So the New York Jets taking the safety, which will lead to the free kick. The prior punt by Jennings led to this, and this is what the Jets were trying to avoid. You'll see number 29, Albert Lewis, make the move.
Lewis Cooper, 55, grabs a hold of Barber, who was supposed to be blocking on Lewis, shakes Lewis free, and Albert Lewis says, "Where is it? There it is. I'll just pick it up for a touchdown." And that's been the only second-half touchdown for the Chiefs today.
Albert Lewis in his 4th season out of Grambling. He is an alternate for the Pro Bowl. And an excellent season. Left cornerback, Albert Lewis.
That secondary could have had 4 players in the Pro Bowl, and Cherry and Burris both are going to the Pro Bowl. Lewis is an alternate. Ross on the other side is probably the most vicious hitter in that secondary. They're a very close unit, and they know they played well today.
And now the free kick for Dave Jennings. So the New York Jets showing great respect for the special teams unit of the Kansas City Chiefs, giving up the 2 points and now giving the ball back to Kansas City. Jeff Smith on the return. Out to the 48. Took the hit from Matt Munger. A 12-yard return and tempers Flair. Barber, the Jet player, involved and ushered aside with 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. What shape are the Jets in now? They lose 5 in a row. They come back strong here. Unless there is a miraculous turn, the Jets are going to go to the next round of the playoffs to face Cleveland on Saturday.
They've gained respect, and it's a big emotional lift for them. I think the fact that Ryan came back gave the team a fresh start going into the playoffs, and Gastineau coming back, I think, lifted their spirits defensively.
And here's Kenny throwing deep, and has Marshall. Marshall down to the 26, stopped by Hamilton and Carter. And the Chiefs now in a hurry-up offense, 26-yard pass play. We're down to 2.5 remaining, and the Jets up 35-15. Goes the middle. Herman Hurd, who has played sparingly today. On the reception, Kyle Clifton made the stop, and they move the chains once again. First down for the Chiefs. There's Kenny making it look very easy, intended for Marshall, broken up by Carter.
It's looking easy because there's no pressure on him in the sense that you're 3 touchdowns down, and you can just, if you throw touchdowns, it's great, and if you're not, you're going to lose the game probably anyway. So he looks very calm and collected in the pocket.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. Kenny is now 7 for 14, 91 yards. 2nd and 10 from the 11. This is Hurd. Picked up a yard on the play. 2 minutes to go. There's the 2-minute warning. So a timeout with the Jets leading Kansas City 35-15.
1985. Bud Grant's Vikings couldn't be in more trouble. Down 23-zip to the Eagles in the 4th quarter. They need 4 miracles. Here's one. A fumble recovery for a TD is miracle 2. And this scoring bomb from Wade Wilson is miracle 3. Could this missile for Anthony Carter be miracle number 4? Count on it. The Vikes win 28-23.
AFC divisional playoff. The Jets playing at Cleveland starting at 12 o'clock Eastern time. New England at Denver on Sunday. So the Cleveland Browns will host a playoff game for the first time since 5 years ago, almost to the day. Frozen Lake of Lake Erie, January 4th, 1981. The Browns at home for the Raiders, and the Raiders beat the Browns. Last time a playoff game took place in Cleveland. Mike Davis putting it away with that interception.
Boy, do I remember that game, and you can be sure that the Jets don't care if it's that cold or what. They're just happy to be going to Cleveland.
Mark Gastineau giving the club an emotional lift. Pat Ryan, the starter today. Don Shula said he'd still go back to Ken O'Brien next week. How do you feel about that?
I think you have to go with Ryan. He has brought him this far, and it's good for O'Brien that he's been able to sit out a game. His batteries are recharged. He found that all the pressure is not on him. He does not have to play like a Superman for this team to win. That Ryan has showed him that, and Ryan is the quarterback next week, and O'Brien is the quarterback next year.
Stephon Page, the intended receiver, so Kenny now looking at a 4th and 9. Pat Ryan, 16 for 23, 154 yards. His teammates refer to him as Mr. Guts, a very tough performer. Played with a couple of concussions 2 years ago when he was the starter at the beginning of the season and led the Jets to a record of 6-2. Here's Kenny stepping up. One-hand catch, but it's down at the 4 as Clifton and Crable combine. And that is it for the Kansas City drive as Jeff Smith was stopped. So Smith stopped short of the first down, and this crowd responding to the Jet defensive effort.
It's certainly something the fans in Giant Stadium are happy to see, the Jets coming back winning a game. I don't think anybody is kidding themselves and thinking that the Jets are all the way back to where they were after the first 11 games, but certainly it's a confidence builder. It's something they can gain respect from, and they can go into Cleveland and say, hey, are we this good? And certainly when you look at Toon and Walker and McNeil, their offense is very explosive. And their defense, Bud Carson getting the high five. A big battle going on between Bud Carson's defense, because they wanted to win this one for Bud Carson because he had been fired from the Kansas City job by John Makovic a couple of years ago.
Jets from their 4. McNeil able to spring loose. Kevin Ross made the tackle, a 24-yard run by number 24, Freeman McNeil. The last time the Jets won a game was November the 16th when they beat Indianapolis here at Giant Stadium 31-16. And after that, a 45-3 crushing by Miami, a loss to the Rams, to the 49ers, to Pittsburgh, and last week walloped by Cincinnati 52-21. will represent the first home playoff victory for the Jets since December of '68 when they beat the Raiders at Shea Stadium. McNeil with 45 seconds to go in the game.
It's almost time to get your main running back out of the game, free from injury, and there you see Joe Walton's accepting the congratulations. Protective gear all over. Ryan played the entire game with gloves on. Didn't seem to bother him. In fact, helped his traction. When the ball is cold like this, it gets a little hard. A lot of smiles on the parts of the Jets. It's been a long time coming for the New York Jets, who suffered a lot in the last month and a half.
Kramer McNeil finishes with 134 yards on 31 carries. John Makovic congratulating Joe Walton as time has run out on this Kansas City Chief 1986 season. A good run to make the playoffs by winning their final 3 to finish at 10-6. And the Jets, who entered the playoffs by losing their last 5 in improbable fashion, win the wild card. They have defeated the Chiefs by the score of 35-15. So the Jets will advance to face the Cleveland Browns next Saturday in Cleveland. Again, the final score: the Jets 35 and Kansas City 15. We'll be back, led by Marty Lyons, right here celebrating the victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jets and the Browns next Saturday along Lake Erie in Cleveland. So the Jets, who were beaten in the wild card last season by the New England Patriots, this year are able to advance.